Okay, go ahead.
All right, so our group did the American Medical Association, and Awesome Russ did our PowerPoint. He did the colors that the American Medical Association uses, so kudos to him. All right, so when was it organized and founded? It was actually founded in 1847, but in 1845, during the New York Medical Association, Dr. Nathan S. Davis decided that there should be a national medical convention. So that's what led to the establishment of American Medical Association, or AMA. All right, next slide.
All right, the organizational structure of the AMA. Hierarchy is listed here. There's a board of trustees that oversees the overall running of the association, over the CEO and all the chief operating officers. Then there's the senior management that manages the day-to-day operations, which entails all the senior executives, senior vice presidents, the group vice presidents, the AMA subsidiaries, which are the AMA Business Solutions, AMA Foundation, AMA Insurance Agency, the Health 2047, and the Political Affairs AMPAC. Then there's a House of Delegates, which their the principal policy making body of the AMA is what they do. And then there's a bunch of councils that are built to work on different things, such as the Constitution and bylaws, ethical and judicial affairs. There's a council on legislation, long-range planning and development, medical education, medical service, and science and public health. And then there's the typical members and groups that different physicians can join and be part of putting their input into the policies, and then they can join different councils and things like that.
So I've got the representation and eligibility. So any physician who's an MD or a DO in the United States or the international equivalent may join, or resident physicians who have the MD or the DO degree or the international equivalent, and who are serving fellowships approved by the American College of Graduate Medical Education or the osteopathic equivalent. Those people are also eligible. Then they can have students who have a student membership, and those are enrolled in an MD or a DO program. Those are eligible as well. And students may take a sabbatical from school and still remain eligible as long as the sabbatical is approved by the AMA and by the school.
Okay, so the percent of all U.S. physicians that are members. So for many years, the American Medical Association saw a decline in membership, but recently that downward trend has reversed itself. Membership in the association has increased for 4 years in a row, and that was in 2013 was the most recent kind of data I could find on that. So anyways, that 4-year number was in 2013. But and 2/3 of the new members that they are enrolling are medical students or residents. And then in 2013, the American Medical Association had 228,000 members, which was roughly about 25% of U.S. physicians during that year.
I wanted to add a personal note. My dad actually is a physician, and I asked him about this today, like, is he a member of the AMA? And he said no, because it's so political now, it's not really worth it. So that was just kind of his personal opinion. So
that's interesting, because my son-in-law is a new physician, and I asked him, and he is not a member either, and he wasn't throughout school, his residency, or now his practice. And he mentioned the same thing, that they're a little bit more liberal than what he is, and also he doesn't want to pay the money for it.
Yeah, so anyways. All right, sorry. Off to the next one.
Okay. The AMA is a professional organization, and a professional organization is defined as a nonprofit organization seeking to further a particular profession, the interests of individuals engaged in that profession, and the public interest. So the AMA is a nonprofit, has a 501c3, and has a tax-exempt status. They further the interests of the medical profession. They say they promote the art of science, the science of medicine. And then they further the interests of physicians. They seek to enhance practice, efficiency, professional satisfaction, improve delivery of care. They do a lot to help teach physicians how to run their offices efficiently and stuff. I've read that on their website. And then they further the public interest. They promote the betterment of public health. The AMA is actually seeking to bring together physicians to help prevent heart disease and type 2 diabetes.
Okay, so is the AMA an advocacy organization? Yes, the American Medical Association is an advocacy organization. The AMA, partnered with outside experts and stakeholder groups, works to influence state and national legislation. They're a powerful voice in legislation. The AMA, partnered with physicians who represent millions of patients, devote itself to representing issues which are most important to both physicians and their patients.
And regarding the policies they've supported, there are thousands of policies right now in effect. They have a website down there that's marked a policy finder, and you can, it's kind of like a Google search for just AMA policies. You can find 300 or 400 just on prevention, for example. Another subject might be pediatrics. There might be a few hundred just policies just on pediatrics. But an interesting thing about the policies that they've evolved, and policies now are not the same policies that were 50 years ago regarding race, regarding gender, regarding gender attraction and things of that nature. So inclusion of the AMA regardless of gender, race, or orientation, those are current policies, but those are like 180 degrees from what they were in the 50s and the 60s. There are policies that cover pain and control with physicians and patient-to-physician workload, and they have a lot of political views. And so what don't they support? It's hard to find out exactly what they don't support because of the thousands of policies, but one of the things we found is that they do not support non-traditional medicine, such as oriental medicine, acupuncture, chiropractic, or naturopathic medicine. They actually have statements, you know, that kind of discourage those.
As a personal note, my husband actually is a chiropractor, and he was saying that here in Texas, they were trying to make it so that a law so that patients would have to go to like a MD and get a referral to go to a chiropractor. The chiropractor couldn't be a primary, like a primary, what's the word? I'm trying to think of.
Provider.
Yeah, provider. It didn't get passed, thankfully, but anyways, that's just kind of personal note there. So.
And in Oregon, you know, we have a chiropractic school in Oregon, which is near where I live, and chiropractors there they can do physicals and you know, that for the kids in their schools, their sports physicals, things of that nature. So it's a little more friendly to matter of fact, there's an acupunctural school here. So they're more friendly in this area, even though that the AMA does not really support it.
Yeah. And then our last slide is just all the sources that we used in order of the appearance and the PowerPoint presentation. So.
Awesome. Great work, all of you. That was very well done. You covered the topic really well. I actually really like the personal insights that you brought into that. It makes the presentation more personal and not just a presentation. So I really appreciate you doing that. I definitely, the American Medical Association, other advocacy groups are definitely very much political. I mean, that's what advocacy groups do, right? A lot of the times they're going to lobby and they're going to go to Congress and try and get certain things passed and do stuff to help benefit the members that are in their group. So, but very well covered. You guys did a really great job. At the end of each presentation, I like to ask the students, each of you, a question. Pretty simple. Don't be too concerned. But I'll start with you, Alexi. The question is, and this is the same thing for everybody, is what was the most interesting thing that you learned as you were studying this topic?
I think the most interesting thing was how it came to be, like that there was just one guy that kind of said, hey, we need a national convention, association. Yeah. I just thought that was interesting that there was just one person that kind of said,
yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
This is Russ. I was just going to say, I think it's interesting that he started for good reason, and it made a lot of sense to probably so they could all get together and share knowledge and gain. And now there's kind of like the opposite view that it's so political that there's so many physicians that don't join because they don't see the benefit of it. I think that's kind of, I used to be in sales and go to physician offices all the time. And you would think that it would be something you'd see at every physician, something on the wall that they're part of it, but it's just not the case anymore. And I think that's pretty telling and sad for the organization that, that not everybody wants to be a part of it.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. All right, Ananda.
Same question. What was most interesting?
Yep.
So just the number of physicians in the United States that aren't members. I kind of thought going into it that number would be really large. And it was actually really hard to find even the information and the data on how many members they have, what percentage of the physicians are members. So that was just surprising to me that their numbers are low, although they have been increasing in recent years. So.
Great, thank you. Keith.
Yeah, I have participated in some conferences, for the AMA and the American Thoracic Society, and am a participant or a co-author of a study that was published in JAMA, a couple of years ago. And so in these conferences, you just kind of get overwhelmed with the scope and the breadth of it all. But in my research here, I was amazed at how many policies are, the sheer number of thousands of policies. They cover so many different things, and the fact that, medicine, 50 years ago was very, very conservative, but now it's very much not.
Right, definitely. Great points. Russ, I think you already answered the question unless you want to go again.
Oh, no, I'm good. Oh, do you want me to say more?
No, you're good. I thought you answered that good. So maybe we'll stop recording real quick, but hang on. I'm going to talk to you guys just one more second.